breathe the heavy. Don't breathe the heavy. Don't. Don't breathe the heavy. Won't believe no more. The empty's beginning to give into this world. Don't breathe the heavy. That would be absurd. The heavens are dancing, but not your broken world.
Welcome, lovely people, to the second episode of Killer School. Today, we learned Vecna.
First off, at his core, he's an M1 killer. Like, he doesn't have his sort of special ability is very powerful and does help him out in a lot of situations, but it's not like a game-changing power similar to like Bubba with the chainsaw or like Huntress with the hatchets. He is sort of what I would call a toolbox killer in the sense that he has a lot of different tools at his disposal. So he can sort of very easily adjust his playstyle on the fly. He can be played a wide variety of ways. The way his power works is you activate your sort of secondary power ability, and then a sort of a spell wheel gets brought up that you can sort of quickly cycle through all his spells that he has. So to start off, we'll go with his fly spell. That's the one that will be on the very top of his wheel. So this is his primary mobility tool. He can use it to fly very quickly across the map. I believe it increases his move speed to about almost 7 meters a second. Basically, you sort of will activate the spell and then cast it, and then just sort of fly off. I'll say you'll use this spell primarily to quickly move around the map, as well as sort of to quickly catch up to survivors who've made a lot of distance from you. Since you still have collision while you're flying around, if you're not careful, if you're trying to, like, shall we say, fly through a passageway like this, you could get pallet stunned out of the air. Also, you can use the fly spell to go over vault locations. That's both pallets and vault windows. However, if you do that, the flight spell will end immediately upon doing that. So to sort of display here. Now, the second spell that I'm going to do is Dispelling Sphere. This is your primary information tool. Effectively, you're going to sort of select the spell and sort of aim it in any direction that you like, and then the spell, it will, shall we say, slowly go in that direction, starting immediately at you.
Yeah.
So it will just travel in a straight line. If you aim it correctly, you could hit multiple levels or multiple locations with it. Like, it's really good to check it to see if survivors are like on a generator or if they're like hiding somewhere. Mage Hand, which is his primary like chase ability. You can use it to hold up a pallet to prevent it from being dropped. This lasts a couple of seconds.
Mm-hmm.
While it's off cooldown, you have sort of a mini Zenshin tactic that reveals the aura of all pallets sort of near you within casting range.
It's your book.
My book. Alrighty. So I'd say the sort of two ways that you would primarily use this spell in Chase is either if you're in a situation, shall we say, where a pallet's been dropped and you're in a chase, you could use it to hypothetically quickly pick up the pallet so they wouldn't be able to vault over it. Or potentially, if they preemptively drop the pallet on you, you could use it to quickly pick it up so you don't lose any time chasing them down.
Yeah.
So his last spell, which is sort of his most versatile spell, is Flight of the Damned. This is the one that's on the far right of the spell wheel. Effectively, you get to shoot out 5 projectiles that sort of shoot out in a straight line. You can sort of only aim it left and right. You can't sort of aim it up or down. It's always going to spawn in directly at the same height.
Mm-hmm.
So effectively, you just basically cast the spell, you aim it, and then you fire it off. And also, the further it goes out, the more spread out the projectiles get. So to the point where a survivor could sort of walk in between the projectiles. Also, the main counterplay to this spell, which basically every survivor knows, is if they crouch underneath it, the projectiles will go directly over them. You can spawn it sort of directly on top of a survivor if they're not crouching. So like you'll just get damaged instantly.
Yeah.
If you manage to time it correctly. It does take a lot of timing, and you do have to understand like the spacing of the spell.
What perks and add-ons would you recommend for him?
So for add-ons, because he is such a versatile character, you can sort of play him any way you like. Like if you want to play him like a heavy, like just chase killer, because he is just an M1 killer at the end of the day, you can use stuff like Coup de Grace or Surge or Devour Hope or Sloppy Butcher or Franklins. Two add-ons I do want to very specifically highlight on him are his green add-on Pearl of Power and his yellow add-on Ring of Spell Storing.
Mm-hmm.
These two add-ons drastically reduce the cooldowns on his spell. Ring of Spell Storing reduces it by a flat 4 seconds across the board, and Pearl of Power reduces the cooldown of all spells that are, on cooldown by 5 seconds every time you basic attack a survivor. So combined between those two, you can get a lot of really fast cooldowns for your spells. Now, I know that generally when you're learning like a new killer, you don't want to really use those like crutch add-ons to kind of like make sure that you're learning how the proper timings for all the characters and everything. But in Vecna's case, the more spells you can cast, the better. He's a lot of fun in that sense of you can play him so many different ways. It's like you never can really get truly tired of a guy who can just be this flexible with his gameplay.
Would you call Vecna cute?
I would say that he is a very skinny boy, and he's a very skinny boy with a very big chest and big hips.
It's got a bit of an hourglass figure, honestly.
He has a very big hourglass figure. Some people like their wrinkly purple raisin man.
Vecna was an interesting follow-up to Ghostface because he is an M1 killer, but he's got a ton of tricks up his sleeve. It was fun being able to shut down loops, and it was fun slinging spells left and right. Obviously, while learning a new killer, mistakes are going to be made. Sometimes you're going to pick up a pallet only to be stunned with that pallet. But Vecna isn't super punishing of mistakes like Ghostface is. You can get up, dust yourself off, and still have a fighting chance. I grew to really appreciate playing a very gimmicky and complicated killer, which is topical given the video I just made a bit ago. My teacher, Nelson, was very patient with me, even with some very frustrating technical difficulties. And Nelson, I know you're watching, here are some moments I hope you'd be proud of.
My body's missing pieces. Can't pull it all together. My body's missing pieces. I wish I could remember. My body's missing pieces. Can't pull it all together. My body's missing pieces. I wish I could remember.
I really appreciated seeing the positive feedback on the previous Killer School video, even if the algorithm didn't like it, so I'm definitely going to make more of these. Next time, we'll be facing our fear of the dark.